Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to tonight's meeting of the Ridgecrest City Council. If I can call our meeting to order with roll call.
Mayor Bruin,
Here.
Mr. Rajaratnam,
Present.
Mr. Heyman.
Present.
We have three present with Mr. Blades and Mr. Gorman at the league conference, so they are excused.
Thank you very much.
Of course. We have a
So first item is approval of the agenda. I understand there is a change to the agenda, Martin.
Honorable Mayor, council members. The staff would request that the council consider adding an item, which will be heard by the council in closed session if the council votes to add it to the agenda. The requirements of the Brown Act are that the information was received after the agenda was posted, that the urgency exists to hear the item, and that should the item not be heard, basically waiting till the next council meeting would be detrimental to the city's interests. The item pertains to an ongoing litigation, and that litigation is City of Ridgecrest versus Heritage LLC, Heritage Living LLC. There has been some new court developments and some discussions which we will talk about in closed session, which we found out about late last week and early this week, and which required council consideration and direction to staff. Waiting till the November meeting would basically prevent us from being able to actively respond to the situation that is developing in the case. So the grounds for adding an item to an agenda exist, as stated. We would ask that the council, if the council desires to add the item, make a motion to add Heritage, City of Ridgecrest versus Heritage as an additional item and put it in closed session at the end of this council meeting.
And we would still have a report out of closed session at the end.
That is correct. If one way or the other, we will report out.
Okay. And so we, for those that would understand, is we would slot this after the mayor and council comments, and then we would adjourn into closed session and then return from closed session with a report out and then adjourn our meeting. Is there any council members with any issue to that? If
We
not,
do need a formal motion.
If not, can I call for a motion for the approval of the amended agenda?
I make a motion to approve the agenda with the addition of closed session item for City of Ridgecrest versus Heritage LLC.
Do I have a second? Second. I have a motion and second.
Mayor Bruin,
Aye.
Mr. Rajaratnam.
Aye.
Sorry, there it goes. Mr. Heyman.
Aye.
We have 3 ayes, 2 absent, motion carries.
Okay, let's go ahead and get going with our regular. Can I ask everyone to please stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance? I don't have an officer present, so I'll go ahead and take the lead. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And Councilman Rajaratnam, if you'd lead us in the invocation, please.
Please join me in prayer if you would. Lord, thank you for giving us this day. Lord, thank you for the opportunity that you have given to us to serve this community. Lord, I pray for our country. Lord, I pray for the upcoming elections at the national level. Lord, give wisdom to the people of this country to elect the right person who can take this country in the right direction. Lord, I pray for our troops who are in harm's way, protect them from all evil. I pray for our police department. Lord, their life is at stake from the time they get out of their house until they get into the house again. Lord, protect them and be with their families. Lord, I pray for each one of us here today. Lord, as we move ahead with this meeting, give us your wisdom so that we do the right thing for this community. In Jesus' precious name I pray. Amen.
Amen. If I could ask my fellow council members to join me at the podium, we have a proclamation to begin with our session for today. Well, good evening. I have a wonderful group of Elks here that I can see in the audience. And they are here as we are honoring Red Ribbon Week for 2024. And a proclamation of the City of Ridgecrest follows. Whereas alcohol and drug abuse affect individuals, families, and communities across the nation, and whereas it's imperative that visible, unified efforts by community members be launched to prevent drug abuse, and whereas Red Ribbon Week offers citizens the opportunity to demonstrate their commitment to drug-free lifestyles, and whereas Red Ribbon Week will be celebrated in communities across the nation on October 23rd to the 31st, and whereas businesses, government, law enforcement, media, healthcare providers, religious institutions, schools, and other community-based organizations will demonstrate their commitment to healthy, drug-free lifestyles by wearing red ribbons and participating in drug prevention activities. And whereas the community of Ridgecrest further commits its resources to ensure the success of Red Ribbon Week, now therefore be it proclaimed, the Ridgecrest City Council does hereby proclaim the week of October 23rd through the 31st, 2024, as Red Ribbon Week, and encourage you to participate in drug prevention education activities, not only during Red Ribbon Week, but also throughout the year, making a visible statement that we are strongly committed to a drug-free lifestyle. Proclaimed this 16th day of October 2024 by myself and the rest of our council members. I'd like to ask a member of the Elks to come on up, and then I got to challenge them with a question, because this is awesome. Okay? And I'm so proud to see us continuing to advocate for a drug-free community, but I would be terribly curious, at the trunk or treat, when we are going to be celebrating with the youth of our community, is there any chance we're going to be able to find some red ribbons? I love hearing that. That's what I'd love to hear. So anybody out there at trunk or treat, please come out, put a red ribbon on, and join us in celebrating Red Ribbon Week. And thank you very much.
You're so welcome, and thank you for allowing us to be here and to spread the word about our endeavors to enhance our program to eradicate the need for Drug Awareness Week. I can share with you that it hits home. There's a little verse in that handout that says, oh, you know, you can't stop it from coming, or it won't come here. Well, it's here. Fentanyl is here. I can share that because in the class of 2003 of Burroughs, my grandson, second grandson, was the, all-state running back for Burroughs, the year we got the big old confirmations and everything. Well, fentanyl took him out of here. He was 32, and he went out to celebrate his birthday, which was going to be the next day. And while he was at the bar, local bar, someone blessed him with fentanyl in his drink. He left a 9-year-old. So don't think it can't come here. It's here already. So anything that we can do at the Elks to help with promoting the stay away from drugs thing, please let us know. And again, thank you for having us.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Can I have this come up and can we take a photo together?
Yes, absolutely.
Can I get the other Elks to come up and join us for a photo? Right up here.
All of y'all, come on.
Come on. You come for the proclamation, you stay for the photo. Mother, do you hold that? Thank you. Thank you. I'm looking for those ribbons. Okay. I love Thank you again to the Benevolent Protective Order of the Elks, right? Okay. Thank you again for coming out, and thank you for recognizing and continuing to advocate for our community. We greatly appreciate it. Okay, next on our agenda is public comment. Public comment of items not on the agenda. Persons wishing to address the council on matters that are within the council's jurisdiction and do not already appear on the agenda may do so at this time. Council will not respond to any public comments, but may provide direction to staff to collect information. Pursuant to the Brown Act, the City Council may not act on any item that does not appear on the agenda. Speakers are limited to 5 minutes, and the public comment section of the agenda is limited to a total of 1 hour. Is there any public comment from the floor? Is there any public comment on the phones? Caller, go ahead.
Yes.
Public comment?
Yes. Yes, there is.
Please go ahead.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yes. Good evening, council members. My name is Alejandro Estrada from AARE Real Estate Brokerage, and I'm here to propose that the city consider acquiring the 38 acres of incentivized flat vacant land at the north end of town by the front gate of the base, right off the main drag, specifically where Ward and Chelsea meet. Based on my analysis, this land could be developed into a wide array of mixed-use opportunities. This acquisition would allow for the city to control the economic development of this strategic area, potentially bringing new businesses, creating jobs, and increasing the tax base. I respectfully request that the council form a committee to study the feasibility of this acquisition and its potential impact on the city's economic growth. You can contact me directly anytime by phone, 714-944-1627, or send me an email to ridgecrest@resomercial.com. That's spelled R-E-S-O, M as in Mary, M as in Mary, E-R-C-I-A-L.com. Thank you for your time and consideration. Have a good night.
Thank you, sir. Is there any other public comment on the phones? Seeing none, I'll bring it back to our council. Next would be council announcements and direction, and I'll just go ahead and take the first direction, which is thank you for the comment. That land actually is currently owned by the city of Ridgecrest. It is part of a redevelopment agency agreement that existed since, I believe, somewhere around the year 2000. And I do know that one of the parcels was recently sold. The parcels are available for sale. If you'd like to contact the city, we'd be more than happy to speak with you about that. Thank you. Okay, next is any other council announcements or direction? I'm just going to go for my one other one, which is I hope that I see so many of you. We're not going to use the W word, even though they've already put out the damn warning.
One day.
One morning, because the fair is in town this weekend, and anybody who's truly a Ridgecrestian knows exactly what we're making fun of. And so the fair, the Desert Empire Fair is here this weekend, and I hope to see so many of you out there. Last year, we had nearly 20,000 people at the fair on Saturday night. What an incredible evening, and they've got a great rodeo coming back on this Saturday, as well as Demolition Derby on Sunday. Great opportunity to come out, be part of our community, and come and see all of the different vendors that the Fairgrounds is bringing out to our community. So thank you. Any other council announcements or direction?
I'll just add to that, a funnel cake wouldn't be a funnel cake if we didn't have the sand in with it.
I always say that fair parking wouldn't be fair parking without getting sandblasted. So. Okay. Hearing no other council announcements or direction? Nothing? Okay. Next will be our consent calendar. All items listed on the consent are considered to be routine and non-controversial by city staff. Consent items may be approved by one motion if no member of the council or audience wishes to comment or ask questions. If comment or discussion is desired by anyone, the item will be removed from the consent calendar and will be considered in listed sequence with an opportunity for any member of the public to address the city council concerning the item. We have one item on our consent calendar. It's the proposed action to approve the draft minutes of the Ridgecrest City Council meeting dated October 2nd, 2024. Do I have any public, does any member of the public wish to have the item pulled? It's not on there. Sorry. But I mean, I figured it was one item. My memory is actually working. Does any member of the council wish to have an item pulled? Hearing none, do I have a motion for approval of the consent calendar as presented?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and second.
Mayor Bruin,
Aye.
Mr. Rajaratnam,
Aye.
Mr. Heyman,
Aye.
3 ayes, motion carries.
Next item on our agenda this evening is our discussion item, action number 2, which is discussion regarding the Board of the Indian Wells Valley Groundwater Authority. Mr. Heyman.
Thank you, Mayor. The Groundwater Authority did meet last Wednesday, and I have 3 agenda items that I will go over. Starting with item number 9, which was the update on Rademacher consolidation and approval of the reimbursement agreement between the Indian Wells Valley Groundwater Authority and the Indian Wells Valley Water District. So basically, it deals with the Rademacher, the homes over on Rademacher Way and the street in that area. There is an issue with the water. In a previous meeting, it was agreed by the board and the water district to fix the problem that was going on. And the water was, it's unserviceable, basically. It's too high in TDSs, and so the water district is undergoing that project to connect them to the water district's services. And so this was just an agreement from the Groundwater Authority had been awarded $3.3 million from the Department of Water Resources through the Urban Community Drought Relief Grant program. And that was to implement shallow well consolidation projects, which is money fit into this project. So basically, it's a reimbursement back to the water district. Since it's a crisis, they're working on the project right now, and we're just reimbursing them back. Item number 10 is the recycled water project funding update. So it was brought back for the board to review. We have reviewed this in the past and basically found that the cost to put in a recycled water project and a filtration plant is very costly. It does not seem like a viable project. The water district, I believe, wants to continue to look at that as maybe a project that they might entertain. One of the issues that we had was with the Bureau of Reclamation Title 16 grant that the GA had. It was approved in 23. It's 3 years that you're allowed to utilize the funding, which is a 25% federal funding that would be approved, and then the 75% leftover would have to come from your own sources of funding. So the timelines for this is pretty tight because in, I believe, December of this year, somewhere on here, but by December 24th, or December of 2024, immediate planning costs and the scheduling must be in for the project. So the water district basically has kind of a short timeline to look into this, but basically the water from that recycling water project would come out to about $7,000 an acre foot. If you compare it to imported water, through the imported water project, the pipeline project, the pipeline water is about a third of that. So this is extremely expensive water to take it from basically taking it from the wastewater treatment plant and then cleaning it up to a point to where it's usable to be re-injected into the ground, or what other usable aspects of it that could be come up with. So the water district has a period of time to look into it, and so we just basically are in agreement with that. If they can pull it off, great. If not, it's what it is. So item number 11 was the groundwater sustainability plan modeling and periodic evaluation update. So basically, the sustainability plan and the modeling has to go a periodic update. The update of the model is complete. There was 6 scenarios that were ran on the modeling, and basically included models 1 through 6, and entailed everything from looking at graphs of what happens if we do nothing and look at what the water usage in the basin would be, the effects on groundwater storage. And so there was charts and graphs that basically show a line, and kind of where the water, so you can expect if we do nothing and being overdrafted at the critical amount that we are, that graph line was a steady decline. And then looking at different scenarios with decreased pumping, how the line was not as steep, and then basically using the pipeline project with reduced usages. There's a leveling out and a sustainable pattern that shows. We also looked at the El Paso Range, which is to the south, kind of southwest of the basin. That's part of the basin. There's wells that's been drilled out there, and so some think that we could drill out in that area and bring water in. It's still a lengthy distance out. Since that water is already considered part of the water in the basin, if we use that water, we're still using water that's been accounted for as part of our recharge annually. Some of the issues that I had with it, listening to the presentation, was that we'd be pumping water from an area that is somewhat in a sustainable pattern right now, but if we start pumping water out of it, we're basically going to have to spend a lot of money to get that water over, and then we're going to undergo the risk of creating a chronic overdraft of a section of the basin that, in my eye, doesn't seem to meet, the standards that DWR and SGMA has put before us to operate within. So, yeah, that's where that stands. I can just give you my opinion of it, and that was that it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to try to pump water from an area in our basin that we already count as water in the basin and create another, chronic issue in another part of the basin. So, and that concludes my report for tonight. So if any of you other gentlemen have any questions, I'm open.
I don't think I have any questions. I think that it's important that the citizens go and watch the meetings if you haven't. There's a lot of communication information that comes from these meetings, and I'll just ask the one question that we have had headlines and we've had press releases and we've had a lot of other different pieces of communication, but one piece of communication I got from that meeting is that the model that is being ballyhooed around doesn't exist. There is no model that the Water District is using at this time to present this elevated amount. Is that correct?
That is correct. So a lot of the information that you hear from the Water District, when asked what they base that criterion or that data on, it's speculation, because they when asked if they had a model to verify it, the answer was no, and that they expect to have that model maybe within as much as a 2-year time frame. So I think it's a little disheartening to be countering what the GA has put out with its, with the best scientific evidence that we have, and the support of 3 counties, the city of Ridgecrest, the Department of Water Resources, what else do we have? The Navy, basically the federal government. So in my eyes, we have pretty much all major entities on the same page and supporting the evidence and data that we have. And so I ask everybody to listen and think about the data that you're hearing coming from the opposing side, and whether or not that information is validated. So
That's all I had. Mr. Roxrotten?
I do have one question, Councilman Heyman. For the imported water pipeline project, we are expecting federal grant or something like that, right?
that's correct, through WRDA.
Okay, so we don't expect any additional burden on the citizens to,
There would be, my understanding is that the WRDA would apply for a major portion of it. I think there would still be close to a $50 million cost that we would have to find the funding for. But we have been looking at different avenues to access that amount of money to cover the excess.
okay, thank you.
Okay. Is there any public comment? Okay, seeing none. We'll go ahead and go on with our committee reports. Next report is our city org report from October 3rd, sorry. Mr. Gorman was there with me. Not a whole lot on the city org side. In fact, I don't think we even had a quorum. We did not. I don't think Mr. Ferris. I think we only had 2 people that were present. Not a whole lot in city org other than, we're continuing to work. The big news is we're getting close on the agreement And I actually think it might be very close to either be completed or nearing completion with Salvation Army for the access to the food recycling reclamation truck. I'm using the wrong terms, but for those of you that don't know, we acquired a grant to help Salvation Army be able to reclaim unused food from our restaurants and other events. So if you had a banquet and you knew that you had a lot of excess food from that banquet, Salvation Army can reclaim that food and repackage it under their licensing, and it's a way to help I hate using the word recycle, or reclaim, but to be able to provide for others that are in need through a process. And we've worked to get a grant to be able to help to provide them that refrigerated truck so that they can be able to pick them up and move them around our community and be able to service that. It's a big step forward, and I know Salvation Army is really excited about getting us to that stage, and we've been working on that for about a year. So that's a big step forward. Not a whole lot else to share with anybody about trash other than we continue to hear, and I promise you we hear it every day.
Can I
Okay.
add a comment that kind of relates to
Sure.
that? So I just want to say, I was approached by a citizen about taking old bread and stuff that couldn't be used that had already gone to one of the food banks or usages, but then from there, instead of throwing it away, wanted to know if I knew of anyone that could use that bread for feeding animals like chickens or their livestock. And so I said, well, yeah, I know a lot of people that could probably utilize that. So, although it's good, it's not being wasted. And I thought, people in the community are working at trying to, be a part of the
Small
solution.
shift.
Yeah.
Working towards. Anything else? No. Okay, next was economic development. That's Mr. Blades and Mr. Rajaratnam.
We basically talked about the new projects that are coming up in town. We talked about the bowling alley. Obviously, that is open now. So that's a good addition to our community as far as the entertainment is concerned. And we talked about Oasis project. They have downsized, but still they have entertainment center and other projects going on. The cinema theaters project, I think they put it aside for the time being. Habit Burger is close to opening. Five Below is hiring, so they're opening. They should be opening pretty soon. And the EV charging station next to McDonald's, it had some problems with the sewer system. They are dealing with that. Panera is still looking to come. They are looking for a good place. Wendy's is going into old Arby's building, so they're. I think they are going to demolish that building and construct a new building to suit their requirements. And that's all. Yeah, that's all we have. Thank you.
Great, thank you. I think, and just to add, Jersey Mike's has pulled its permits in for construction, correct? On the other half of the Habit building?
Habit Burger building. Yeah.
So that's coming too. Jersey Mike's is still, some people have asked, they didn't hear Jersey Mike's, but yes, it's still very much in the moving forward. Next would be Finance Committee. That's you and me. Go ahead.
I'll help.
They did for finance to me. Not a whole lot to excitingly share other than, we are in the beginning of our first, months of the fiscal year. We spend a lot of time kind of looking at patterns and trends, and the one trend I would say we kind of saw is, a lot of people would say property tax is always it's one of our primary generators, but our property tax is about $3.6 million of our $19 million budget. So to put that in perspective, it's less than a quarter. And on average, we've seen over the past several years an increase of about $200,000 to $300,000 a year. Now that's from 2020 to date. And if you think about what you've seen home values change in Ridgecrest between 2020 and date, there is some logic to that. But the really important thing is that even a small incremental growth of $200,000 or $300,000 a year, it's still going to take years before property tax is ever able to provide a sufficient stream of income for the city to function for all of the services it provides. This is a real important statistical thing to understand. Is it's not as big a chunk as others might perceive it to be. And we are still under a property tax agreement through the fire contract for at least till 36, sorry. Long after I'll be out of here. So 2036, but it's just a fact of life is just to understand statistically, the pot is not as big as some people may perceive. Every other number is moving right along the lines. We are starting to see some slight softening on sales tax as we see the construction start to wind down from the base, and we fully expected that, but it is still pre-2020 construction numbers. And so if you look at the 2019 to compare, we are still substantially in improvement compared to the 2019. So, okay. Anything else from finance that I didn't cover?
I think you hit it.
Okay. Next is infrastructure, which will be meeting on the 24th, Quality Life on the 5th. I don't know if we'll be meeting on that evening. I might be drinking on that evening. And then, sorry, guys, I'm going to be honest with the world at this stage. We're going to be fun. It's October.
Alcohol-free.
Huh?
Alcohol-free.
Alcohol-free, that's right. I won't be certainly meeting. I'll be in my home crying. So Ridgecrest, RACB, sorry, I'm teasing, guys. I'm in a jokey move. It's a fun night, so my apologies. RACVB is the 23rd. Other committees, boards, or commissions? Anybody have any? I will say came in from LAFCO, the Local Area Formation Committee. There was nothing to report that it really has an impact on Ridgecrest, other than I know the East Kern Healthcare District continues to work its way slowly through the process at LAFCO for the hospital. I know that is continuing to push forward. City manager report?
I don't have anything at this time.
You get one opportunity to come up here and share something and you're not going to take it? Okay. Well, there's Cherie's big applause. Future agenda items. I'm seeing none. Mayor and council comments?
I also have a comment. I just want to say that, we get to hear the good and the bad, and I see occasionally some folks bantering on Facebook about the status of the city and about our mayor, but I just want to say that I've worked with Mayor Bruin since he came on board here, and while some may argue with his style, I can say that you can't argue with his results. He has done a phenomenal job for this city. We could go on a big list. I don't have a list. I wasn't planning on saying this, but whether it's the pool and how much work he's done, in getting us a pool, working on the annexation, infrastructure projects, crises that we've had in this town. He has put a lot of his life and effort into this town, and it showed. And without a doubt, in my 42 years of being at Ridgecrest, I personally think he's the best mayor that we've had for productivity in this community. So to those that have something negative out there to say, well, I think there's a whole lot more positive backing it up. So thank you.
Councilman Rajaratnam.
Since this is the last meeting before the upcoming elections, I want to thank the community for giving me this opportunity to serve on the city council. I'm humbled and honored to serve this community no matter what the outcome is going to be. So I just want to thank the community for giving me this opportunity. And it has been a pleasure to work with the city council, the existing city council. So I'm pretty sure we have done a lot of great things for this community during the last 4 years. So again, the credit goes to you because you have elected us and you have given that opportunity. We were able to accomplish those tasks. So whatever happens next, I wish that we continue to do the development projects and continue to grow this community and look for the base sustainability. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Well, I am humbled, Doc, and thank you. I won't take the opportunity to say anything else other than exactly what Councilman Rajaratnam says, that the every 2-year cycle is a challenge with this role. I will admit that. But it has been my pleasure to serve this community for the last 4 years, and I hope that I am granted the opportunity to continue that service for at least another 2. More importantly than anything else is citizens, the power and your right to vote is one of the most cherished and powerful things that we are granted as a United States citizen, and I encourage you to take advantage of that. Whether you like me, hate me, or you like or hate Donald Trump or Kamala Harris or anybody else, it's irrelevant. Your voice matters and your vote matters. And if above anything else, register to vote, be involved, be an educated voter. And if you're not sure, ask questions. We are always more than happy to talk or share or communicate. And, when you look around and you see people putting signs up or you see people doing those things, remember that those people are doing those as volunteer hours. They're doing it because they love this community. They do it because they care about this community. That truly is what makes Ridgecrest so awesome. I want to take a quick moment and compliment Mr. Endicott. It's been a pleasure to actually get to know you during this process. You've been nothing but a gentleman throughout, and I would state that very much so. I hope that you will continue, regardless of whatever happens, to continue to participate in the process, because we are always in need of great leaders who show the respect that you have, and my best to your family. With that, I wish everyone a great evening. I look forward to seeing you on November 6th, and please remember to go out and vote on November 5th. Have a wonderful evening. Now we're going to closed session.
We will adjourn, we will now adjourn to closed session.
will now adjourn to closed
for
session.
One item, and that is City of
And then we will
Ridgecrest.
adjourn afterwards. That is correct. My apologies. I'm so used to closing it that way.
Yeah. One item for the record is City of Ridgecrest versus Heritage Living LLC, existing litigation.
Back out of closed session.
Thank you. Honorable Mayor, council members, council considered one item which was added by special motion, and that is City of Ridgecrest versus Heritage Living LLC. Council considered the information provided in closed session, and there were no reportable actions taken by the council. Thank you.
And with that, our evening is adjourned. Have a wonderful weekend. See you at the fair.